Rajinder Singh is a co-founder of Compass Mind Asia Sdn Bhd, an award-winning and leading training provider. With over 30 years of experience in project management, talent development, and the learning and development industry, he has helped organizations build high-performance teams and strengthen workforce capabilities. A respected trainer, consultant, and speaker, Rajinder is recognized to deliver practical, engaging, and impactful insights that inspire performance and drive sustainable results. He is also the Secretary General of MedPro and holds notable positions in various other NGOs. Give a hand to Mr. Rajinder. Same thing as well, sir. You got 20 minutes after 15 minutes. Okay, all right.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. And okay, so the topic that today I'm going to share with you today is about the 10 cash flow traps that all training providers have to avoid. Okay, so first of all, I want to know, I'm talking to all training providers here, right?
Yes.
Okay, because if you're not, if you're a trainer, you got to change your cap today. Today, take your trainer's cap off and put on your training provider's cap. Okay? Okay? Yeah, okay. Okay, so firstly, as a training provider, you need to understand that you are actually a business owner, okay, and not a trainer. So a lot of times we trainers tend to think we are running a training provider and a trainer together. But you have to understand, once you're a training provider, especially if you're Sdn Bhd or even as an enterprise, you are actually a business owner. So the first thing, like what Tan Sri Padan says, you need to understand cash flow. You need to understand business profits, P&L, okay? You need to understand the principles of running a business and a company, and also the strategies that you need to apply for your business itself, okay? So you got to start changing your mindset and start thinking like a business owner. So one of the first traps that we always come across, okay, from my experience 25 years in this industry, is that we end up chasing revenue instead of cash. All right. So one of the first steps that we always do is we need to deliver trainings, correct? As we deliver training, we need to pay for training venues, pay for trainers, and so forth. So those are all expenses that we have to incur, pay for the food. Okay. So those are inevitable. However, the solution is you need to learn how to negotiate with the venues in terms of deposits only, pay subsequently later, don't pay trainers immediately. Trainers are not going to be happy about that, but that is a reality. You got to negotiate with your trainers. You got to have a payment terms of at least 14 to 30 days. All right. Second thing, think like a business owner. You got to closely monitor your account receivables. It's easy to get a sale, easy to go and push an invoice out, but then nobody from your team or yourself is monitoring the payment. The account receivables is very important because cash flow is the blood to your heart. Cash flow is the blood to your engine, to your business. If you got no money, you can't run a business. Okay? So prioritize cash collection, not just the sales. Number two, over-dependence on one large client. So sometimes what happens in the nature of our business, we tend to work with a couple of clients and then we find one beautiful big client, right? They give us about 70-80% of the business. Wow, everything is nice and rosy. So what we do, we tend to focus, build a close relationship and focus on one big client because they give us a revenue. Now, you need to learn how to diversify because in this world, nothing is constant. Everything is about change, right? That one company that you're dealing with, that one big client, the CEO can change. Your contact person may leave, and so forth. Or government policies can change. For example, recently, a lot of people have been working with Perkeso. For those of you who have experienced 3-4 years ago, Perkeso changed their policies. So if Perkeso was one of the biggest clients, then you could be stuck. So diversify. Always cap your clients 25% to 30% should be the maximum with one single client. The rest, you got to learn to diversify. Because the moment one client gets stuck in payment, your cash flow is affected. Right? Number 3, high overheads cost on temporary growth. Alright? So sometimes in the business that we tend to do, we tend to see a positive growth and we feel very happy. But suddenly you see sales coming in and then there's extra revenue coming in. We feel very good, and then what we tend to do, we start thinking big. Suddenly we want to go IPO already, right? Start thinking big. So immediately we start expanding. We start hiring more staff. We start increasing our office space. So what you're indirectly doing is you are increasing your overheads. Alright? You got to let the business sustain first, because you got to talk about sustainability, right? That immediate burst of business you have temporarily in the last 3 months, is it sustainable? Or was it just luck? You know? Suddenly your sales team have been pushing hard. So you got to see how to keep a lean and strategic core team. The rest of it, try to see how you can outsource. And now with technology and AI, you can do a lot of things without actually hiring fixed overheads. Today, we ourselves use Gemini and some other AI platforms to actually do our proposals, to help us do our proposals, at least the outline and all that. Okay? Okay, poor management of grants and claims. Now, this is another very important area where most training providers tend to overlook. Alright? So we assume that claim submitted is equal to cash in hand. Sales we get, we submit to HRD Corp, okay, money is coming in. In reality, you need to maintain a dedicated claims tracking process. How many of you here got a proper claims tracking process in your organization? Yeah, good. Only a few, right? Yeah. So, Compass Mind, we actually use a software, a task management software called VWork. There are so many other management software out there, CRM, which you can use, but use a suitable software or use a platform, or even you can use manually, but please track your claims regularly. Most of the time what we have is, we only start tracking the claim when we are out of cash. Brother, suddenly you realize end of the month I have to pay salaries, and then you see your bank balance is, oh shit, I cannot pay. Right? Then we start calling HRD Corp, then we start putting in the WhatsApp groups and start asking advice from fellow training providers. Right? So have a regular dedicated team tracking your claims. Alright? And then build cash reserves to cover payment delays. Always make sure you have got cash reserves. Do not have the habit of spending extra cash immediately on things that are not important for your business. Growing too fast without working capital. So I think today, after Tan Sri Palan and also Alan spoke, some of you, I think, are inspired really want to go open branches now to Brunei, Cambodia, Southeast Asia, right? You might get excited, right? But always remember, you always got to have a working capital. The trap is, it's easy to open new branches. Can you sustain it, right? It's easy to grow, but can you sustain? So always have a cash reserve. At least 3 to 6 months of cash reserves is very important. Okay? You never know when another epidemic or pandemic like COVID can come. Right? How many of you here were really affected when the COVID came in terms of cash? Many TPs, right? Many TPs were caught unprepared. Right? Suddenly you realize you got to pay salaries and there's no revenue. Right? There's no business at all. So always maintain a healthy 3 to 6 months of operating expenses in your reserves. Underpricing to win business. This is another very important thing, whereby you notice at whatever cost we want to get the deal. Sometimes we even underprice just because we want to sale. Right? So we slash prices because it's a very competitive. 7,000 training providers, 24,000 trainers. Right? So it's very competitive. We want to slash prices. But when you slash prices, the cost of delivery must be calculated. Alright? So calculate cost per delivery and always add on a margin of 25 to 35% into your training. So a lot of times we do not add margin. So when client tells us, do a training for 3,500 a day, we say okay. Alright? And the 3,500 a day may not be including all the costs that you are supposed to be paying off. So what will happen? You will have very thin margins. So discounting too close a deal feels like you win in sales, but it's a loss in your cash revenue. Okay? Seasonal revenue. We all of us here in the training industry, we are aware, right, that the training calendar, December, January is low periods. Then you got Chinese New Year coming in, then nowadays Raya, Puasa month. So from December, almost from December till March is low period. Then the momentum picks up. Betul tak? The momentum picks up, you start again somewhere in April, all the way until November. So these are beautiful months. Good money, good cash. But what you got to do is, you got to plan for the months that are also low months, low seasons. Alright? So you got to work throughout a 12-year calendar in terms of your cash reserves and cash flow. Do not just look at the good months, 7, 8 months, and then the 4 months that you have problem in terms of your reserves and your cash flow. Okay? No payment terms or late payment enforcement. So a lot of times we want to win the deal, we keep our terms and conditions very nice and sweet. We do not put delayed payment terms or payment terms like 25 days, 30 days. So clients will take some time. Of course, most of us are claiming for HRD Corp. They have got standard payment terms, right? But then there are also some of us who claim directly with clients, right? Some clients do not go through HRD Corp. So these are clients you have to put payment terms there so that they are aware, okay? And you got to follow up with them. Because a lot of big companies, they have got these special teams assigned to keep delaying your payment. You know? Yeah, they've got these teams who keep delaying, and then you call them, they don't answer, you send email on it. So you got to actually follow up, right? In Compass mind, in my company, I'm the alone. In 3 months, if my team doesn't come back to me and say, we go through a fortnightly meeting, in 3 months this client has not paid or responded, then I pick up the phone. Right? So every organization, you have to take accountability into your own business. Okay? So especially payment terms, very important, because payment coming in is the one that will give you the cash, will give you the blood for your business. Number 9. Okay, this one basically happens a lot of times when you have a smaller organization or a smaller team, mixing owner's expenses with the business cash. So always remember, if you're a business owner, start thinking like a business owner now. Stop using your company account as your personal account. Always draw a certain salary, whatever you want, 5,000, 6,000, 8,000. Draw a monthly salary from your business. Okay? Plan your cash flow from January until December, so you know the good months and the bad months, so you know the average, and then taking into account the expenses and the budget that you're going to do, draw yourself a simple salary. Anything extra, pay yourself a dividend. The challenge a lot of businesses have is the owners start using the company money for personal use. Pay for my car, suddenly I upgrade my car, pay for this, pay for that, pay for my travel. Then you realize at the end of the month, during the low season period, there's not enough cash in your organization. Okay? And lastly, tax and statutory payment surprises. Most of the time, this is the one you always do not plan for. Okay? And the taxman will come very hard on you. Not only a taxman, even EPF, SOCSO, if you do not pay your employees EPF, SOCSO, nowadays they come very hard. So most of the time, we do not actually end up thinking about budgeting this. We always put this aside, right? Until we get a notice. Right? So always in your budgeting, cash flow preparations, always remember to take into account tax and also statutory payments that are the surprises. Okay? So the biggest threat to a training provider is not the lack of opportunities. It is delivering excellent training while running out of cash, waiting to be paid. Alright? So with that, I'm done with this session today, and
Thank you very much. Thank you very much again. Can I have the mic on, please? Can you all hear me?
Yes. Any questions?
Okay, yeah, can I have one question from the back there, please?
Yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is E.T. I hope it's okay if I ask 2 questions. Number 1, regarding invoices, I always put late payment invoice 10%, change of days for penalty, but I've never implemented it. Do you suggest we actually be firm on it, or do you think it's a bad idea to charge clients penalty for late payment? That's number one. Number two, we always want to hire business development or sales staff to sell our programs. Have you ever tried part-time BD or salespeople, or does it really have to be full-time? Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. So to your first question, yeah, we always make sure we put it there. But for ourselves in Compass Mind, we don't enforce. It also depends on the relationship we have with the client. If it's our long-standing client, we do not want to rock the boat. We know sometimes, but we need to follow up with a call so that they are remembered that they need to pay us, right? But if it's a one-off client and you find it difficult to really get through, then we actually enforce it. But then again, if you do not have these clauses in your invoice, in your quotation or invoices already there, then it's difficult for you to actually invoice. So have it there. Whether you choose to implement or enforce it, it all depends on your relationship with your client. Okay. Number two, from my personal experience, because we have also over the last 25 years, we also tried various models. Okay. And we realize if you talk about just digital marketing, I think it's okay to outsource, although we don't now. But I think if you're talking about sales, you need to have a dedicated in-house sales team. If you have freelance, first of all, difficult to monitor the KPIs. At the same time, they may be doing this for a few other training providers also. So you don't know the emphasis is going to be on which particular training provider and program.
Thank you. Any other questions, please? Maybe one more before we have our last presenter. Fantastic. Very, very clear. Thank you very much. One more.
Thank you.
Thank you.